Boom. What's going on, guys? If you're listening to the comic experience and you've clicked on this video, it is now the Fulcrum Report. Fulcrum Report, episode 24.
Yeah.
I would have had that 24 intro. You know, the boop, beep, boop, beep. But welcome back, guys. This is the Fulcrum Report. It's our pop culture podcast that we have here on the comic experience. We have lots of talented people on every single week, and we also listen to you guys down in the comments and on social media. So without further ado, I'm your host, Sebastian. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm going to shoot it off to my good homie over here in the U.S. We got Gilbs. What's going on, Gilbs?
What's up, guys? First show of the year. I'm so happy to be here. The following takes place between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
So it's great to have you guys back. But if you could hear that adorable little laugh over there, that is my good friend, MACHINIMA man, Marshall. What's going on, Marshall? It's great to have you back, sir.
It feels so good to be back. I heard Keith Sutherland was going to come for the 24th episode, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately.
He was too busy diving into Christmas trees.
Yeah, you're stuck with me instead. So.
Great to have you back, sir. And then let's shoot it on over to my other buddy in the UK, Crazy Uncle Harrison. What's going on, Harrison?
Yeah, I've managed to recover from the holidays, so you've got me here. And well, let's say that might be as good as you get.
No, they haven't been all bad, but yeah, that's all been good. But it's great to have you back, Harrison.
It's very good to be back.
Cool. Let's go into our quiz question of the week for our episode 24. I literally am making this up on the spot, but I thought about it while I was at work today. So the quiz question will be, we have everybody keeps talking about this Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, or not Homecoming sequel, but the Spider-Verse sequel. So I want you guys to tell me what the hell Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 would be called. I imagine it's going to be called something different. So let's get creative. Let's get wacky. First one in 2019. So we'll get back to that at the end of the episode. And all you down there in the comments, also don't forget to comment down there. Okay, this is a special episode this week. We're doing since it's the first episode of 2019, or at least the first episode that's being recorded, we shall do a prediction episode. So we're going to kind of look at what we have ahead of us of 2019 in the world of pop culture and nerd. And hopefully we're basically going to transport our bodies into future selves, and we're going to give future reviews of what we saw. So let's just start off with the big one. Let's do some Star Wars. Starting with Gilbert, tell me how the Mandalorian series was. Or is, yeah.
How is it? Well, it didn't have any Boba Fett in it, and so I'm gonna give it just instantly that take down a grade. Like if it was gonna be like if it was gonna be like an A, it's a B just because there's no Boba Fett.
What did you think of the IG-88 cameo though? That was pretty dope.
I mean, it was cool, but again, without any any of the other bounty hunters without any Dengar, without any like Vosk or anything, without any of that, nothing. I mean, I can't do it. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it's cool. Another bounty hunter will be, but I'm like, it's not Boba Fett, man. I can't do it.
No, what did you think of the character, the main character? I'm drawing a blank on the character's name right this moment, but Pedro Pascal's character. What did you think of like the effects for the show? It's the first Star Wars live action show. Was it what we all thought?
He basically just reprised his role from Game of Thrones. If you've seen that, it's just kind of like meh. He's just kind of there. He's there to be kind of like. He's kind of like pretend to be charming, but not really be. Just kind of like he comes off as kind of weird and kind of like you. I don't want to say it because of our younger listeners, but Woody. You want to be afraid of him if you're a chick.
Right on. So it didn't seem like you liked this series too much. You would give me a positive.
Had some cool scenes where he did some like blaster stuff. He did some like he did some blaster stuff. Like he did some like gunslinger shit.
Right on. Yeah. So out of a 5, because I've always stuck.
I'll give it a solid 3.5. 3.5.
Right on.
Wow.
Cool. Marshall, Give me your
Yes.
predictions. Step into future Marshall and tell me what the Mandalorian is going to be like. Give me some positives and some negatives.
Well, it started off slow, as most series do. But that Benedict Cumberbatch plot twist, like, I can't believe they completely got rid of Pedro Pascal and Benedict Cumberbatch at the end of the season took that helmet off, and it was Benedict Cumberbatch. Like,
Yeah,
who could have
no.
saw that? Who could have saw that coming?
And for all you listening to the video, spoilers ahead. But yeah, so if you want to let us in on what happened to the character, I guess we thought he like survived, but then some. Yeah, what was going on with that?
Well, I don't even know, Sebastian. It's been so long since I've seen it. It's December 2019 now, and it came out in April.
Yeah.
Something about an Infinity Stone that saved him. Then he became a bounty hunter in a different universe. I think
You're
that's how it
right.
went.
It got a little controversial. That's right. And then Benedict Cumberbatch, the Sorcerer Supreme, came in here and took over as the Mandalorian. So
That's it. I remember now.
yeah, no, yeah. Shame on you, sir. You're on a pop culture podcast. How dare you not remember what happened in the first live action Star Wars show? But
It won't,
okay,
it won't happen again.
yeah. So, and then what are some negatives?
The fact that they killed Benedict Cumberbatch off as well. Just right after the big reveal, when you think he's going to be in the next season, a land speeder just comes and just absolutely mows him down into the Tatooine dust.
And who would have guessed it was Snoke on the speeder this whole time? We were asking for some backstory, and there you go. It was kind of shoehorned in there, but we got some Snoke backstory, you guys. Were you happy with that?
I actually thought it was the grandson of Sebulba from the Phantom Menace. His granddad taught him how to build a pod racer. Yeah.
Is that who Snoke is?
Sebulba.
Oh,
why
we
is
solved
this
it.
theory never?
Oh wow, guys! I didn't even realize it till just thinking about it now. But no, you're right, Marshall. That is him, huh?
Yeah, they even start with the same letter in their name. Snoke, Sebulba.
And then okay, I got it. And then that would explain when he crashes after hitting Benedict. That's why he gets all the scars. And yeah, okay, it all makes sense.
That's
now.
why he's screwing with Kylo Ren so much, because he's just screwing with the grandson of the guy who screwed him. Like that it's solved. It's confirmed.
Yes. Snoke is Sebulba. I've cracked it.
He like fell in a vat of like
Oh no!
like acid, like the Joker.
No, like the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan, he does that thing. He goes undercover with all the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
He got that like facial reconstruction surgery. he got like massive plastic surgery.
Right on. Cool. Harrison, what are your thoughts? I'm gonna move on quick because looks like we talked way too much about the Mandalorian for us not liking it too much. But what are your thoughts on the Mandalorian, and what do you think we can expect from season 2?
Season 2 is going to be huge. I mean, at the end of season 1, when they revealed that the whole thing was organised by the boss of the Gungans, my mind fell out of my head. And again, when they then came out with the behind the scenes feature that came out last week, where they showed that Benedict Cumberbatch did the mocap for all of the Gungans, I don't understand. It's going so deep. And at this point, we're going to have a Gungan-Mandalorian war, but nobody knows because it's possible that Alderaan is still around. They just put it back together. Like they've been going around finding the pieces, like Mike Wozniak did with the door at the end of Monsters, Inc. And they put it all into a giant planet-creating machine, so that Alderaan's going to return, and then we're going to have to redo the entire thing. Season 2 has a lot to do, and I don't know if they're going to manage it in 11-hour-long episodes.
And then also there is that bit in the behind the scenes rail where you see that like little bit of concept art up on the wall with what's his name, the two directors. You got Taiko and who's the other guy with the hat, Dave Filoni. They're both looking at the concept art, and if you see the unused Revan concept art, do you think that's going to show up in season 2 maybe a little bit, because of you got the whole.
Yeah, it could do. I mean, what I'm quite interested in is there is another bit of concept art. I'm really glad you brought it up, because there's the Slave 2, that's in there, which is like 2 slave ones glued together back to back. I'm really excited to see how that works.
Yeah, it lands upside down. I heard a lot of people on Reddit saying that there's been some concept art leak.
Yeah, it's like a Weeble. It just like lands and then it sort of rocks from side to side, but it won't fall down.
See, I have a question. For Harrison.
Go for it.
What did you think of the Jar Jar Binks cameo? What did you think of him showing up? Was that fun for you, or was that just like...
It was inevitable. You know, it was going to happen. I'm kind of glad that they're giving him... that second chance. I mean, all those allegations came out about him early on in the year.
Whoa.
And they didn't have time to remove him from the show. But then it turns out he didn't actually shoplift that stuff. He had paid for it. He just lost his receipt.
I thought you were going to take an entirely different direction.
Wow.
Right, all right. We have a lot to predict this episode, so we're going to totally move on. But Harrison, episode 9 was huge. We just actually saw it a couple of days. I'm still reeling from it. Why don't you just go ahead and tell me what you thought of Star Wars episode 9?
Well, I mean, like last year, when I watched The Last Jedi, and we went through and we went on my reactions, I didn't talk a huge amount about how it was very disappointing that Snoke dies in that movie. You know, when he's cut in half. Because you know, you had the first movie, you build up this mysterious character, you don't know who he is. And then he's just kind of cut down, quite literally, and you don't get any of the backstory revealed to him. But when he turned up and it turned out that actually he wasn't cut in half, the lower half of his body was fake to begin with, and the rest of it was that weird Sebulba body, him being the grandson of Sebulba, as Marshall mentioned. And then they resolved the entire thing with a pod race at the end. That was something amazing, and to be honest, I don't believe I never thought I would say this, but that was pod racing.
And now I totally see what they meant by tying every single piece of the saga into this final movie, like giving it an homage. And oh my god, dude, I almost cried when Kylo Ren like took the sheet off and you found out that he was going to be racing with his grandpa's pod racer. Like,
oh yeah,
but he had to, like, I don't like how he painted it black though. Like, I was like, come on, like you got to go all edgy with it and like have the red flames out the back. Like,
I wanted to explain how he fit that helmet on, to be honest, because that was a helmet for a child, but they forced it onto that boy.
And then he did that part where he like spun. He spun through because you know that's a good trick. You know how he spun through the yeah.
Oh yeah, multi-track drifting, I believe they call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get serious real quick. Give me your let's see how I'm gonna word this. Give me something that will 100% for sure show up in Star Wars Episode 9.
The Millennium Falcon.
I was gonna say stars.
Cool, right on. Do you have any predictions for Episode 9? Any big plot reveals or twists or anything of who Rey might be, the Knights of Ren, Kylo Ren's demise, anybody showing up, any cameos, Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker, how they're going to use any of that? Give me your prediction on that.
I think Luke Skywalker's going to be a Force ghost. That's going to happen at some point.
And
it's kind of pointless now, but it'll happen.
Okay. And then your prediction, did the Carrie Fisher stuff work or did it not?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I think again, it's one of the biggest jokes, like an incredible cosmic joke, that they went through so much effort in The Last Jedi to keep that character alive. They did ludicrous things to keep that character alive, and then that Carrie passed away so tragically is like kind of a huge like nose up to the creators of the movies, and it's a bit of an embarrassment, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think it could have been done in a little bit, like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to shoot it over to Marshall. So, give me your positives for the movie. What did you like about Star Wars Episode 9?
I liked that they had a proper lightsaber battle this time.
Right.
I liked the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker. I thought it was a good way to bring him back in. There weren't any porgs in this one, which is good. I hope that's what they call, isn't it, Paul? The little
Yeah.
bird
Yeah.
chicken
Yep.
things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, none of them were in there, so that's a positive. Apparently there was going to be an evil BB-8 droid to rival BB-8.
They're gonna have their own lightsaber battle.
Yeah, but like they hyped him up so much in the posters, but he literally rolled onto the battlefield and someone like kicked him away like a football, and he never came back on screen. So
Rose.
all of Rose's scenes were deleted, which was a good call, I think. They were cut from the final movie.
She just didn't even show up. They mentioned her though. What did they say happened to her?
She
Oh,
got
no,
sucked
that's
out
when,
of out of the airlock and into the vacuum of space. But this time
Yes.
she didn't have the Force, so she couldn't do the Mary Poppins thing.
It was when Finn was picking flowers for Poe Dameron, and he said, "Here, I got you some roses."
I am so for that, by the way.
That was the only time Rose was mentioned in that film.
Okay, cool. And then give me some negatives of Star Wars Episode 9. What didn't we like about Star Wars Episode 9 that we wish could have maybe just been a little different?
The Rey's parents thing is still a mystery. We don't know who her parents are. Snoke
But what was
come
Rey?
back.
What was Rey?
Born from the midi-chlorians.
Oh, they make a triumphant return.
Exactly. Did you enjoy that stuff? Did you feel like it was cohesive, or did you feel like they,
Sorry, what was the question?
Did it make sense?
Yeah, did it make sense? Yeah, was all the homages to the classic trilogy and all that, did it make sense? Was it worth it?
They felt a little bit forced to me. A little bit too forced. Not good homages. I don't have a very positive outlook for this film, Sebastian, I've got to admit.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, see, it's a big Star Wars nerd to me. Like, it was better than The Last Jedi, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to beat how terrible that film was. So, yeah,
And
this one's going to be at
JJ
least a
didn't
2.
do that bad. Okay, and then okay, put on Serious Cap real quick. Give me a 100% prediction of something that will happen in Star Wars Episode 9.
Kylo Ren turns to the light side.
Okay, so we're thinking that. Yeah,
For
and
sure.
I really think that should happen too, because it would be so boring if he just you know what I mean, if he's just the bad guy at the end. Because like, think of Kylo Ren at the end of The Last Jedi and how he's so angry, and just that, if that transfers over into Episode 9 and that's all we get is just some angry bad guy who like brings his fleet to some epic battle, goes down on the planet, battles Rey in some like, epic lightsaber duel to end all lightsaber duels, and then just get killed as a bad guy, that would be so boring. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
In all honesty, though, I think people are going to complain either way. If he redeems himself, people are going to be like, well, we saw that coming. The bad guy always redeems himself. Or if he dies as a villain, people are going to be like, why didn't he redeem himself?
Yeah, what are the what are the chances that like he just is like hardcore just evil for the whole thing?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind if he was just straight up evil and he didn't get redemption.
Cool. All right, I'm going to shoot it over to the Gilbs with this next one. Gilbs, what did you think of the Knights of Ren? They finally showed back. I think it was like a little bit of a love child of J.J. Abrams. I'm sure he was a little bummed, but also maybe like happy that they didn't get messed with in The Last Jedi. So what did you think of the Knights of Ren finally showing up?
Well, I thought it was, it's about time. Personally, I thought their lightsabers were kind of dumb because, this weird trident lightsaber with the 50 different blades coming out of it. I thought that was kind of retarded, but
excessive.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, but what do I know? But yeah, I'm glad to finally get their story. It's only depressing that their story was stupid. It just turns out that they were just stormtroopers that just have lightsabers, and they're gonna get killed in like 5 minutes because Rey's just that awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
and then what? Yeah, in the Metachlorian, so you find out that the Metachlorians, she is a Metachlorian basically.
Yeah, no, it turns out that she's actually like nobody, and she doesn't even have the Force. It was all just like Luke controlling things all the whole time. It's just like a major just like revelation there.
The major reveal of the movie is like, yeah, she's reaching out that part where she's reaching out her hand to pull her lightsaber back to her for the 17th time. And
yeah, it turns out that Luke actually was the last of the Jedi, and she actually wasn't one. It was Yoda or like a Force ghost controlling everything.
Yep. just
It's
like
been a
Qui-Gon,
big prank this whole
Qui-Gon
time.
Jinn
They touched
running.
her ear like one of those guys in Men in Black, and the face
Yeah.
opened up, and it was just a tiny Yoda inside.
Exactly. That's why, and which is why when she went into the hole and she did the whole thing and looking at it, that's why she didn't see anything because there was nothing to show her. She doesn't feel the Force. She has no Force powers. Nothing.
She's just a mirror.
Wow.
This whole thing was
Gilbert
just this whole thing was just a big old.
knocking right out.
She's
This
just
whole
a
thing was just a
worm.
big old mind. Yeah, the whole thing was just a big mind.
You're
You know
nothing.
what?
Cool. Negatives of The Last Jedi. What were some negatives? I mean, or not Last Jedi, but episode 9.
Not enough C-3PO. I want to hear more of him just reacting to things, because
I know.
that was
It was
like the
kinda
best. That was sadly one of the best parts of episode 8 was him being like, I don't think I'm cool with this. Yeah, shut up, 3PO. So I want more of that.
He
And
just
there-
comes
and
in
there-
with a blue leg this time.
And well, no, he was there for like 5 seconds, then he got shot, then he just died, and they just killed him off.
Wow.
I have a really
Like
grim, I have a
halfway through
very
the
I have an extremely
movie,
grim
too.
view of this movie as well. I don't look at it as being a very good movie.
Okay, serious cap on. Gilbert, what are your serious predictions for this movie? Tell me one thing that is bound to
Honestly,
happen.
if I'm being completely serious, I think we're gonna see Rey build her own lightsaber, and I think it's gonna be like I think they're gonna try to go for like an original version of it, or like a new version, kind of like they in the same way they went with like Kylo Ren's cross saber. I think they might do an original one for her. I don't know what that would be, but
Did you guys ever see that thing I sent you back a while back talking about like the one guy that says he's like seeing the advertisement what is it, like the pieces of advertisement basically, the assets, and I guess he saw that Rey like has the Luke Skywalker saber, like she puts it back together somehow, and then there's some sort of like ring or something binding the saber together. And then he said that her saber is gonna be like unstable, like Kylo Ren's, I guess. I don't know.
either way, I just think it'd be kind of cool to see a new version of Luke's lightsaber, like her build one, and it'd be like, because just seeing the same old stuff is kind of lame in my opinion. I think it'd be kind of cool if even if it is built off the same thing, I think it'd be cool to see an original version of it, or a new, kind of like the way Ezra Bridger, he made his lightsaber into a gun as well as a lightsaber. I think it'd be kind of cool to see something like that.
Yeah,
or
no, I totally agree. Yeah.
I don't know.
Or like or that staff saber everybody keeps talking about.
Yeah.
Or like I think even there's in the
or like a pike saber. Like how cool would that be?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be pretty
Absolutely.
cool, yeah.
I remember there's a piece of concept art in the art of Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and I know they keep using concept art from multiple, like, just because you saw it in one book doesn't mean that they don't use it for other movies. And one of the images was a female character, like I think it was before Rey was a thing.
Yeah.
But it was a female character holding a dual-bladed lightsaber, and one side was blue and one was red. So
That's
like,
kind of cool.
yeah, and then also, like, there's this huge, if you read the Qui-Gon comic, or see our voice stuff coming up, which is going to be super dope, but if you read that and, like, the Darth Maul comic that's recently out, and there's all this talk about balance, I could totally imagine them, having her lightsaber be the red and the blue, and she's, like, the balance of it all, So, I think the piece of concept art was even called, like, Fire and Ice, because they wanted to show, like, the, right? But yeah, so I'll try and get that concept art to you guys, so you guys can see it for the show. But let's move on. I guess that's my prediction, though. I'm thinking out of all the things that they can do to her saber, and then that was like a legitimate piece of concept art I saw. And if they're gonna keep talking about this balance, who's he, what's it? I think that's what's gonna show up. So, okay, let's move on to. We're gonna do this one quick. We're gonna move on to our Marvel section. So how am I going to do this? Marshall, tell me a positive of Avengers Endgame, and then give me a negative of Endgame, and we'll see if our predictions are right. So give me a positive of Endgame, something positive that all the fans will enjoy.
Well, it's got to be the action scenes, right? I mean, and the whole thing coming to an end, but in a really good way that everyone will be happy with, which I'm sure will be impossible, but...
Right.
I hope that most people will be happy with how it all gets resolved, as long as the NYPD don't put Thanos in a police car like they did in the comic.
With the Thanos copter.
With the Thanos copter.
You know, I would actually totally be stoked if he rolls up in Thanos' car.
Oh no!
I'm totally a major proprietor of the Thanos car meme.
And for a negative, I think too much screen time for the newer heroes like Captain Marvel, Falcon, you know, and not enough screen time for the older Avengers.
The ones who are on their way out.
Yeah, the ones who started it all.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, at the very end of this, do you think people are gonna walk away from Endgame stoked or a bit disappointed, or do you think it's gonna be like, you know, Infinity War, you know, level awesomeness?
I don't think it's going to be disappointing just because it is like, you know, the end of such a massive and long journey. I don't think they can screw it up. I just don't think it's possible.
Gotcha. Okay, Gilbert. Yeah, same thing with you. And then I also want to hear your thoughts real quick. What are the chances? Because I keep having this like feeling in the pit of my stomach. What if Endgame isn't as like epic as an Infinity War? You know what I mean? Like as spreadsheety as comic booky as you know, as many as 20 characters on the screen at once. I keep having that feeling. Are you feeling me on that? What you know? I'm kind of like prepping myself for it not to be an Infinity War Part 2.
I mean, that is always the risk. That's always a possibility. But I don't know. I think that I mean, on this podcast we've always established that we trust Marvel, and the MCU has been just hit after hit. I mean, generally. I mean, there are a few exceptions there, but generally the movies have been really, really good, and I mean the continuity's been really good in this, and the fact that, like, you know, it went from Avengers to Avengers 2, now Avengers Infinity War, and each one just got better and better, and it's just kept exceeding expectations. I don't think we have anything to worry about with that, but I could see your point. But, I mean, I just think we should wait until we see more footage, because right now all we've seen is like Tony Stark talking to a helmet, and then and then like Hawkeye standing in the rain. That's about all we've seen. So I think
you know what? Maybe it not being so big and maybe it being like more of a personal story wouldn't be such a bad thing. Also, you know, if this is the, you know, kind of the original Avengers sign off, maybe, you know.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's reserve judgment until we see like the Thanos trailer, because, you know, obviously they're going to show you a trailer that involves, you know, footage with Thanos in it. So I'm like, let's wait till we see that. Probably in a couple months, and then I'll let you know whether or not I'm worried. But right now, I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then and then this is 100% real. We have there's leaked concept art of, and I'll send it all in the chat so you guys can see it later. But of Thanos wielding a sword. That's a legitimate thing. It looks like Thanos is going to be wearing the helmet the majority of the movie, but like without sleeves. And then also, what are some other things I've seen? Everything. Oh, Captain America finally gets that like scale armor. This is like pretty much confirmed.
Oh really?
Yeah, you know that like scale armor that he has, kind of it looks like the bird feathers. Yeah, so we finally get that after, you know. So, and then what's the other last thing? Oh, Iron Man's final armor has like the gold arms, but with like the red fists and like forearms, like his original. And he has like the gold thighs, and he has like basically that original red and gold Iron Man look, but with like the look of his, you know, Mark 50 armor. So that's pretty cool. So, Mr. Cynical, tell me what everybody's going to hate. Tell me something everybody's going to hate about Avengers Endgame.
I have a really bad feeling that people are going to hate Captain Marvel. I don't want them to hate Captain Marvel, but I think people are. I think it might be a bit disappointing.
Really?
And I don't,
Why do
you
say
know,
that?
I think it's going to be...
Do you think it's because they didn't dig Captain Marvel, or do you think, you know, maybe...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be cool. So I don't think that the Captain Marvel movie is going to be great. And I think what we're going to see is essentially the reverse of what happened with Black Panther, because Black Panther came out and people really enjoyed the Black Panther movie. There was lots of great hype about it. And it was really cool, and people were happy to see T'Challa and Black Panther in the first Infinity War. But I think we're going to get the reverse here. I think it's coming out so quickly before then that
It's literally a month.
Yeah, so I think there's gonna like it's likely that you will go into a theater and Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame will both be playing at the same time, and I think it'll be a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and it will just taint whatever Captain Marvel's involvement is in Endgame.
And that will 100% happen, what you said, because I saw Black Panther. It was like the first time ever in history where I saw like two movies from the same studio, like right next to each other. It was Black Panther and Infinity War, like right next. And I think I even saw it with Ant-Man. And
Ant-Man came out like a month after Infinity War, so yeah.
Yeah, he like came out in July. Yeah, so it was like, yeah, and I think I saw that too. So it was like the first time ever in history where I'm seeing like multiple. Like I could go watch one movie and then just go see the sequel like right next door. Is weird.
Yeah. I mean, but what Harrison said about Captain Marvel though, about people not liking her, is what I was worried about when I said that they're going to get more screen time in the next Avengers. Like, I don't want it to be mostly Captain Marvel and, the newer superheroes.
See, I'm not sure why you guys would be saying that, because, I mean, I haven't seen anything personally that makes me worried about the Captain Marvel movie. I mean, the Skrulls, like, having the Skrulls there kind of seems like a cool idea.
No, I totally agree with you. My only fear with Captain Marvel is, and I'm... how do I say this, guys? I'm a real person, guys, and I totally love everybody and every gender and every race and everything, but I don't want them to go, here, I covered everything, right?
It's totally a girl power movie. That's what you're trying to say, basically.
Yeah. I think they're going to go, Wonder Woman was the right touch of it, and I think they're going to try and, duplicate Wonder Woman, but, just to the umpteenth level where it's almost way in your face, and that's, my biggest fear of it.
See, I don't know about that. I think that's what I'm thinking it's going to be. Is just it's going to be Marvel's version of Wonder Woman, and I mean it's going to be received really, really well by girls, and guys are going to go see it and be like, "It was all right," and that's.
But nothing special. I don't.
Yeah, but
I
walked out of. I mean, personally, I walked out of Wonder Woman thinking it was a good movie. Again, nothing like too incredible, but I walked out of it not angry that I paid $12.
Yeah. I remember going to see Thor Ragnarok and then being like, I knew Thor Ragnarok was going to be awesome, but with more the mindset of okay, this is basically just a build up to Infinity War. And I didn't realize how amazing Thor Ragnarok is all on its own, just the movie all on its own. And I don't feel like I'm going to walk out of Captain America like Black Panther. Yeah, Black Panther just seemed like a step towards Infinity War, like a thing I needed to see. And it was awesome and I loved it, but it seemed like one of a prelude novel basically. And I feel like that's what Captain Marvel is going to be more like is a prelude comic. So you know who the hell Captain Marvel is when she shows up in Endgame,
Yeah, I think that's what I'm worried about in Captain Marvel is that the trailers and the things we've seen so far make it look like the bad bits of Marvel movies. It makes it look like the entire movie is set up. It's all just going to be an overly complicated plot with some villains that their motivations don't entirely make sense. And frankly, what's looking so far as a lead character who's not charismatic. It's more again, I might see the movie and it might be great, but she reminds me of how Thor used to be. Do you remember how Thor
totally
used to be quite boring, and the character would just go he was just there and he was yes I am Thor, hello, yes, I fight you, Loki, but no charm.
Until we got Ragnarok, and now we finally have the Thor with personality, and even in Infinity War. So, but he had to grow into it.
Yeah. Now, essentially, the best way I can probably say is I am worried that Captain Marvel is going to be another Thor: The Dark World, where it's going to just be a dull plot.
I couldn't agree more.
We'll see what happens. I think it's possibly gonna, and I'm gonna move on because we're running short on time. But I think it's gonna possibly be, I think it's gonna be first Avenger, kind of it was good, but it's not when you start thinking of the real, it's good, and I think First Avenger is awesome. But when you start thinking about the real good ones, First Avenger is out. You know what I mean? And by First Avenger, I mean Captain America, the First Avenger. Cool. Let's move on to our final one. Unless you guys can think of any more, but I think this is pretty much our big last one. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Let's give our predictions on that. I'm gonna start it off with Gilbert again. Give me your quick positives and negatives of what you think people are gonna dig and dislike from this movie.
Well, my positive is that the movie was pretty solid. Like, the suits were cool. How he loses the suit and how he ends up in the shield black suit. It was pretty awesome. So I think that's gonna be like a cool story. And the addition of Nick Fury or possibly Coulson, maybe, who knows, like all of that. Because I mean, I feel like adding them both into Captain Marvel, that's them setting something up later.
I really hope so, especially since but Coulson.
But now the only negative that I have is that upon further reflection, that it's Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio and not Neil Patrick Harris, because that just seems like a perfect idea.
And do you think,
you're so right.
Yeah, what are we thinking on Jake Gyllenhaal? Do you think he's going to be a decent Mysterio? Because I know fans have been dying since
Honestly,
Spider-Man 3 to see Mysterio.
He's not a terrible actor. I mean, I like Donnie Darko. I like Jarhead. Honestly, I'm kind of drawing a blank on what other movies he's in. There's one movie I remember where it was about he's like a rocket scientist or something like that. He's like in high school, or I don't know. It's something. It's something I saw.
Nightcrawler that he's in as well.
Yeah, Nightcrawler. There's that. But yeah, like most of the movies, he's in Brokeback Mountain. But I don't know. He's not a terrible actor. He's just I don't know how he's gonna be in this.
What was that one train movie?
Oh yeah, he's like he dies, but then he like respawns, and he has to like stop it from being bombed.
Source Code.
Yeah,
Source Code. Yeah, that one was pretty good actually. And then I never saw the what was it, Nightcrawler?
Yeah, he's he films crime scenes and or crashes and stuff like that, and sells it to to news outlets. It's a really weird movie. It gets kind of dark.
I heard that was actually not so bad. I'll check it out maybe if it was as good as the trailers looked.
Yeah, it was all right. It's worth a watch.
Cool. So Spider-Man Far From Home is actually gonna be.
I think it's gonna be as I said. I always have faith in Marvel. And the last Spider-Man movie that we saw, Into the Spider-Verse, it gives me no, I have no reason to believe that anyone touching a Spider-Man movie would be, I feel like they know what they're doing as far as Spider-Man goes, at least at this point now.
They had to work it out, but they got it down.
They figured it out.
Okay, cool. Marshall, tell me, what are you predicting with this movie? Is it going to be a awesome Spider-Man movie? Are there too many weird villains, or I don't know, forced romances? What are you expecting out of this?
I'm hoping for some surprises, because we've seen so much of the film. We've basically seen the ending with Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio and the shield cars pulling up to him. We've seen all the suits. We've seen screenshots of him with what's her name? Zendaya's character.
Yeah.
We've seen all that, so we know
MJ.
there's a lot of things. Oh yes, how could I forget?
Yeah, their poor attempt at a Mary Jane.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was MJ or Gwen. I was like, what? Which one was it? Yeah.
Yeah, MJ.
But, I don't know. I want to be surprised by something in there.
What are the odds of possibly an Aaron Davis showing back up, or maybe a Miles Morales possible
Yeah,
because I know that was a thing in the beginning of the movie, but if you watch the Marvel movies, they're pretty strong on following up on stuff they left behind.
Yeah. And I mean, that guy is the guy he was talking to in Homecoming. He's the Prowler, and he was even talking to when he was buying the weapons from all those dudes. He was talking about wall scalers or wall climbers. So he is the Prowler.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just softened us with Into Spider-Verse with the Prowler too. So so everybody knows what a Prowler is now. It's not it's gonna be who the hell's Prowler?
They could do what they done with Crossbones, if you remember in Civil War. There was all the hype around Crossbones being a bad guy in Civil War, and then he's literally in the first 20 minutes in one fight.
And then dies.
Yeah, I could kind of see that happening with Prowler, but
maybe not dying but getting captured or something.
I mean, if they do, then they just waste their opportunity to bring Miles Morales with give the origin story for Miles Morales, in a live action MCU movie. I don't know. That feels like it'd be a waste.
We'll see what happens too, because we never know if maybe the third Spider-Man movie is a Miles Morales story because something happened to Spider-Man in a different movie or something. We have no idea.
He gets killed by Mysterio.
maybe Spider-Man dies at the end of this movie, you know, like maybe that's the huge surprise. Like we just have to wait. And it's getting to the point where like now there's like, let's see, I think that'll be the okay, so that's 21, 22, that'll be the 23rd Marvel movie. So like they got to start changing stuff up, or it's eventually will grow dull if we, you know, but like they've been given pretty good performances, but like, all right, this is the home stretch. You got to make it home, Marvel.
Yeah. Don't screw it up now, kid.
Don't pull a Patriots. Cool. Harrison, what are your predictions of Spider-Man Far From Home? And give me your final thoughts on what you think is going to be the reception of the movie.
In terms of reception, I think it's going to be good. Like, you know, originally I would be like, yeah, there's going to be another Spider-Man. And I was really excited there was going to be another one after I saw Homecoming. But now I am a little bit like, if it ain't Into the Spider-Verse, I don't want to know. But what I want to see, what I'm really looking for is, because they set up in Homecoming about how, you know, like Spider-Man I love because he's on the ground floor. You know, he's like with the people. And Homecoming being based on like the aftermath of Avengers and what happened in the incident in New York, I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot of stuff about the aftermath of the snap and how all of that affected normal people and whatever solution there is for the snap, how that affected normal people and what's going on. I want to, because this is going to be the first Marvel movie in the canon after Endgame. So I'm really excited to see what the world is like after that movie.
I'm stoked for that too. Are there any possibilities that would make me super sad, but do you think there's any possibilities of this being a prequel to Endgame?
Yeah, there is a possibility of that.
Because they become coming back from like that bus school trip. Do you think that's like them coming back from
from somewhere that was far from home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. I hope not. Because I don't want to have that kind of like and hit the reset button, because you know they did that with Ant-Man, and you know I want to see where this story goes, and I don't want to wait another year to find out.
No, I totally agree with you. I want to see what the world looks like afterwards, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, we're getting to the point where these movies are so good, we're like trying to like theorize reasons of why they would be bad, but like I think we're all in the clear. Okay, cool. So let's get on to our quiz question. We've been talking a lot about Spider-Man, Marvel, the predictions of all that. It's probably inevitable that we'll get the title of the next Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel coming up, and hopefully it is not titled Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. So, everybody here on the Fulcrum Report for the first Fulcrum Report quiz question of 2019. Gilbert, go for it.
Okay, so I think this is going to be kind of a complicated one, but it's going to be Spider-Pool kills the Spider-Verse. And so, stay with me here. So,
no, I'm kind of
the Deadpool that we all know, the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, he went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then he gets the idea after hearing the whole speech at the end about how anyone could be Spider-Man. He decides to himself that he's going to be Spider-Man. So he goes and buys a costume just like Miles Morales does, puts it on over his costume, and then he gets into a super collider and destroys the entire universe.
I would actually be super stoked for that. And
yeah, he completely he just kills a bunch of scientists, take it to a super collider, trying to open the multiverse, and then destroys the entire universe doing so.
Cool. And then for bonus points, tell me, other than like Spider-Man 29 or Spider-Man we've seen already, tell me a Spider-Man that will show up in the news. Because they're of course it's toys and they're always going to introduce. This is like Lego now. They can introduce.
Yeah, this is nothing new. But has anyone heard of Spider-Punk? You know, the rocker Spider-Man. I think that's almost guaranteed that Spider-Man's. I'm almost guaranteeing that Spider-Man's going to show up.
Cool. Yeah, he's huge now. You got Spider-Man PS4. I've been what's the Spider-Geddon comics? I've been reading those, and he's all in those. And then also, like, dude, I'm staring at a freaking pin I have in my room right now. Like, so, yeah, totally see him showing up. Thank you, sir. Let's go on to Marshall. Marshall, tell me what you think the new Spider-Verse is going to be called, and tell me what's going on. And then also, yeah, tell me an original, or not an original, but which Spider character is going to be showing up.
Well, funny
no.
story. I was in the process of making this, and I dropped the pen that I usually make the memes with.
Oh God.
So the film's called Spider-Man Into the Cumb instead of Into the Cumberverse.
Hey! I call plagiarism right here. Hold on 1 second.
Boo! You can't do that.
I've seen this
What?
before.
Steal.
Really?
Yeah, Sebastian made this.
Did you actually?
For
only made this
Cumberbatch
meme.
Fest. I made it for you.
I am so sorry that I don't remember Sebastian.
Here we go. Here's the original right there.
It's the same picture as well.
It is.
Oh, it's so.
Thing, but there's like slight differences.
I really dig. Wait, hold on. We have the same Cumberbatch face on like the. Your Gwen Cumberbatch face is the same as my Miles Cumberbatch face.
I just picked like the first 5 in Google search.
Oh, I thought about these. I was like, okay, what would be the top one? Okay, that's your Cumberbatch of the week, guys. I even made sure to get Spider-Man Noir down there.
Oh my God.
I am horribly embarrassed, and I'd like to apologize to all my fans and supporters out there. I've let you down.
It's like
Next
IGN
week.
all over again.
Cumberbatch ain't gonna save you this time.
Okay, so yeah, disqualified.
Right,
All right, Harrison,
rightfully
it's up
so.
to you.
All right, Harrison. So yeah, tell me the title, what original Spider character is showing up, and maybe a little bit of what it's going to be about.
Okay, so it is titled Spider-Man: The House of Web, and
Ooh.
it's
down,
a story that is very near and dear to me and to every Spider-Man fan who was a child watching TV in the late 90s, early 2000s. It is simply finishing the storyline that the Spider-Man animated series was cancelled on, when Madam Web was going to show him what happened to the original Mary Jane, because I deserve that.
Oh, damn it. That's a good answer.
No, you're right, because there's that whole plot twist with wasn't Mary Jane like made of water or something? I still remember
Yeah,
this. It's like
there's
the
loads of
nightmares
weird
are
stuff.
etched into my brain. Like Hydro Man made her or something.
Yeah,
Hydro
but then
Man,
it turns
he
out that
creates
she-
a clone.
Yeah, but then it turns out that the real one was actually alive, but that we don't know where she is. And then, yeah, he was going to go on this mission for Madame Web, and after the fact, he would tell her, he would show her she would show him the way to Mary Jane, and then after that was the end of the series. We never got to see the end. I agree. That was the bane of my existence when I was like 9.
I remember
The end of the
that
world.
being at my sister's birth and like her being like us going the next day or whatever, and then like literally in the hospital room watching Spider-Man on the TV in there. So like that was like 1999. I still remember that to this day. Like yeah. So
Yeah, and just like when I used to watch Fox Kids and
Yeah.
Spider-Man was on like twice a day because they'd do like new episodes and then they'd do like reruns or whatever. And then once they ran out of new episodes, they'd just start the whole season again from the very first episode. And you'd be sitting there and I'd be like, right, okay, this is the Madam Web episode, and there's an episode on right after this because this is digital TV and everything. Okay, I'm gonna find out, and then just boom, first ever episode of the
Yep.
animated series.
Pretty much. And then when
Right.
a few years ago, like about, I'm going to say 5-6 years ago, when it was on Netflix, I watched that, and like, same thing. I was sitting there, I'm watching to the end. I'm like, finally, I get to see the ending, because I figured, it was just, it's not going to be on, or it must have been a rerun or something.
Exactly.
But then it ends. I'm like, what the? You can't do that. You can't just dangle it in front of everyone and be like, no, we're not going to tell you anything.
that was one of the best. But oh my god! And I remember especially out of that show, like the black suit like story, and that was like golden. Like
Yeah, they did it really well. They did loads of stuff really well. And like before that bit where it gets cancelled, there's the whole like series of episodes where he's on an alien planet.
they
And
do
then,
the
like,
first
they've got...
the first iteration of Spider-Verse ever, by the way.
Yes. We mentioned we've talked about this before when he meets Stan Lee.
No, it's just like the one of the final episodes right before they had like the Secret Wars episode. They had like where Spider-Man teamed up with like Scarlet Spider, the Spider-Man with the 6 arms. There was like that Spider-Man from an alternate dimension.
Then there was the
had,
actor
like,
Spider-Man. There was the metal Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It's like
that was good stuff, man.
Spider Carnage, by far one of the coolest.
All right. Harrison, you got this one. I'm sorry.
There was no way.
Yeah, right. Well, that, and then I was also thinking with Deadpool, until like Disney and Sony and all that BS, I don't know if like Deadpool would be able to do anything yet. So like I'm just waiting on that. So until that's like a physical
Yeah, I
thing,
mean, mine.
I think.
See,
yeah.
I decided this week to just go for I could have done a serious one, but this week I decided to go for a joke, and look where that got me.
Cool. Let's get on to the end of our show. Gilbert, thank you so much for being on every week. You got any plugs this week?
Well, yeah. If you Obi-Wan and Anakin 4 is already out, so go check that out. I'm very proud of that. And then go ahead and check out the Qui-Gon comic, which will be coming out on the 12th. So I don't know if that's before or after this is coming out, but
right.
hopefully it's after.
Cool. And hopefully you all enjoyed that, and look forward also to more, because this has been my idea to do like the Star Wars version of the MCU, because we even have like multiple characters showing back up, and like it's cool. You have Obi-Wan in one comic, and then you have the same voice actor showing up in the next comic. It's pretty cool, and like I don't know, it's just groundbreaking for what voice dubs can be. But thank you, Gilbert.
Absolutely.
Cool. And then Marshall, thank you so much for being on, sir. Man, I miss you, man. So it's great to have you back, and don't go nowhere. You got any plugs or anything for next week?
Thank you for having me back. It does feel really good to be back. I'm so happy to be back. But I've got a little plug. I'm working on a Skyrim Machinima series at the moment. With
Machinima Man's at it again.
I don't know what it is. People just but it's called Rigmor of Cyrodiil. It's made by wonderful director Lou Zan. She's done a lot for me in terms of voice acting and stuff like that. So go check it out if you like Skyrim. It's got love, drama, you name it, action. Yeah, check it out.
Cool. Thank you, Marshall. And also, fun fact: Marshall is going to be a cameo for a page in the Kenobi comic coming up in the Age of series. That's the third part, basically, but. He didn't have a name, so I named him Jedi Master Marshall.
I did look at that and I thought, is that just a coincidence?
Dude, I'm totally putting that in the credits.
We have to, yeah. It'll be like Marshall as himself. So everybody keep your eyes out for that one. It just kind of like looked like him, but like in alien form, maybe. Or like I just imagined your voice coming out of his mouth, and I'm like, let me hit him up and see if he's available for a quick cameo. So
yes,
looking forward
absolutely.
to that. Cool.
Me too. Thank you.
Let's go over to Crazy Uncle Harrison. Thank you so much for being on, Harrison. It's always a blast having you on. It's also awesome. Like I constantly keep up with all you on social media, and you're all awesome. So everybody go check his out. Any plugs coming up, sir?
There was something that came out on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, rather, because midnight on New Year's Day. A new podcast, very different style podcast that I'm appearing in, called Magpie. It is a horror mystery podcast, and the pilot episode is out now.
Cool. It's always a pleasure having you on, sir. And everybody go check out that other podcast. I'm sure it's totally awesome. I think that's it for the Fulcrum Report, episode 24. Man, it was a blast. 2019 is going to be a year. And then if you guys wouldn't mind liking the videos, subscribe, hit the little bell notification so when these videos pop up, you can watch them right away. And also, please comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Give us your 2019 predictions. Maybe we didn't talk about something that we can't fit on the show because the internet bandwidth isn't big enough. So we'll talk down there with you. We're down there. We're also on the Instagram, the Twitter, all that fun stuff. So keep an eye out. But I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm Sebastian, your host. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Fulcrum Report 24 out.
Can I ask you a question about balance? Is anyone else going to get to a point where maybe the Jedi realise they should stop trying to destroy the Sith? You know, just like that's your side of the planet, this is my side of the planet, anything.
Yeah.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.